mean, I see the city, like, the city is crying out. I got 37 years, and I've only been out for close to a month. And for years, I've seen the city crying out. You mean, and there's a lot of young men. The thing is, like, how are we going to approach this? You mean,
about time I preach, man.
Every day on the ground is
to the streets. You dig what I'm saying? It's fucked up in my city, nigga. For real. We don't got nothing to do. That's why the kids hooking school and niggas towing tools. We don't got nothing to do. That's why we trap our public houses and jails overcrowded. We don't got nothing to do. That's why my city's so corrupted and we living life like fuck it. We don't got nothing to do. Man, somebody need to help us. Come on, don't be so selfish. We don't got nothing to do. Man, they rather build a jail before they build a school. We don't got nothing to do. They say Black Lives Matter, but they giving us the blues. We ain't do nothing to you. We ain't do nothing to you. We ain't do nothing to you. Man, somebody need to help us. Come on, don't be so selfish. We don't got nothing. Somebody need to help us with vouchers. We need more shelters. They trying to cut the food stamps off. They really selfish. They trying to throw the keys away. They trying to...
OG's coming in here, man. OG's coming in, man.
Down here.
It smell like success in here.
Yeah, that's why success.
Success.
Wayne, what happened was I got a call about reform, something I think Meek and them started about 2-3 months ago based on the situation that happened with him. And Prima came out with this shoe called Reform just based on, I guess, the criminal justice system and how it has affected people like you guys and did y'all a disservice. So I was talking to Emery, I was like, you know, man, let's try to find a way to get Baltimore on the map in terms of all the men I know. He's like, man, Meek running the show. So when I went to the punch, I was talking to Jay. And Jay always like, he's so, Jay-Z, he always so supportive. He's like, man, whatever it is, man, we need to do, we'll get it done. Let's do it. So then I got a call the other day that Prima wanted to have a reform conversation. I couldn't think of no other men or males other than the people in this room who I know not only represent what reform is, but who've been affected by it, you know. And I mean, growing up, I was telling, you know, Peanut and Crucius my big homie, but like, you know, growing up in the streets of Baltimore, specifically White Lock, I mean, drug dealing was prevalent, you know, and I remember hearing stories about Dennis Wise in the penitentiary, and then when I knew when Crucius went over there, I'm like, yo, who's Dennis Wise? And, you know, I remember asking him, that was back in the late 80s, early 90s, when you could go into the prison and play ball with the guys and all that, right, you know. And I just remember hearing all these stories about, you know, the Bodie box still to the world, you know. But specifically, you know, Peanut, you know, and I remember when he left the street in 82, I think that's right, it was 82? 82. I remember his entire case, and I just, you know, always kept up with guys, and then Dennis woke me up to speed about your story, you know. So really what I want to do, because my goal is to not ever be a culture vulture. Never let y'all guys' platform be in vain. Never let the industry or anyone, you know, take away from what y'all guys live. You know, Uncle T out here on the street every single day, 100, he lives, you know, and I know a lot of what he do because he lost his son in the same street that most of us grew up in. But for me, it's always about trying to use my platform, my relationships to help people.
Well, I mean, I came when I was 17. You know what I mean? I came home. I mean, I'm 30. Then I go right back when I'm 33. You know what I mean? But in the process, during this time with the feds, you know, my son was murdered. You know, in 2011. I never really got to know him. You know, and that's the parent worst fear, you know, that has a child taken from you. You know, over foolishness.
You know, and like, I see it all the time where people who necessarily don't have the right message, but they some kind of way be the right messenger. You know, and I think that's a conflict because I think the message should match the messenger. You know, when we talk about reform, I mean, I was trying to count in my head. I guess y'all can tell me, you know, individually, how much time actually was done in this room. Carmichael Stokey Kennedy, I did 12 years in the federal system.
I'm 100 grand. I'm Troy 100 grand Wilkins, and I did 10 years with the state and 5 years with the feds.
Ralph Bailey, 32 years with the state.
Dennis Wise, 38 years.
Peanut King, 7 years in the state and 30 years in the feds.
Yeah, Terry Williams, known as Uncle T, 25 altogether, 10 in the feds, 15 in the state.
Ryan Burton, 38 years.
What I want to do is talk about reform, but more importantly about you guys and what you guys think. How was it then, how it is now, and what need to change. As I was telling Wayne and not downstairs, man, for me, you know, being associated with elected and selected officials, I believe that the answers and I always say the antidote is in this room. Not because of what y'all guys did behind the wall in terms of surviving or what caused us to go, but y'all was able to manifest and orchestrate some of the most successful things that people die for today. And whether it be illegal or non-illegal, I mean, I see people in politics do it every single day. But, you know, but more importantly, what I think need to be had is said, because I think y'all platform is so premium and so powerful, I need the world to know exactly where I get, you know, what pedigree I come from and the information I get, because people, they may see me today like, yo, this happened, and I know it didn't happen because I watched guys like him play basketball. I read your bio. I studied you, you know what I'm saying? I just met Uncle T and heard so much about you, but like, a lot of people can't fathom doing 3 years in prison, you know, and that's why people tell, and you know, and I don't know how long it takes for people to get acclimated. For me, I've been on 8 years and change, and I'm still, I mean, it's still like some surreal moments. Like for me, like, you know, sometimes waking up and not have to worry about 4 o'clock count, and sometimes, I don't know, people might not understand, but I miss it. Because it was camaraderie in the prison where though everybody had something in common, they're trying to get out. Now out here is like so much hate and animosity, and it wasn't like that when y'all was out here. You know, I remember when you could travel from East Baltimore to Park Heights and it'd be all over the block because everybody was happy to see somebody getting money. And now it's like, okay, with the criminal justice system, they out here hustling to survive, not to get ahead, and that's why I think a lot of crime is happening, and then they so hopeless and desensitized that they don't really even have a clue about what an OG look like. That OG is somebody who did 5 years in jail and he run the block. But what you perpetuate every single day and what Dennis is doing to me is needed. And I always say, if y'all guys had the proper platform to tell the real story, not what BT edit, not what the paper write about, but what y'all guys talk about. And I always say, now men listen to men. Everybody who, you know, I looked up to pretty much, or some form of fashion, is in this room. It may not be identical to what they did for a living or what we did to take us off the street, but just in terms of being a man. And I think that's missing. That element to me is so far gone. But I just want y'all to know that this is not about, you know, culture washing. This is to create a platform to talk about reform, and hopefully y'all guys' story can not only resonate with a lot of people that's disconnected from the truth, but also the privilege of the world get behind you guys and give you the platform y'all deserve. I don't think y'all should get y'all flowers when y'all die. I think y'all should get them now. And I think if guys like me in the position to see it happen, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to hold them responsible because I know for a fact that those who know how it works is in this room, and those who can fix a lot of things that we go through, what me and you see in our generation, is in this room. And I think if they listen long enough, you know, the answers will reveal itself. You know, and you know, again, what you do with your platform every single day, trying to, you know, remain humble, you know, and not necessarily perpetuate what happened to your son to someone else's child. To me, that takes a lot of a man, because I don't know if I have the energy or the strength to say I could do that at this point in my life. I'm not there yet, and I pray I don't have to ever be put in that situation. That's why I got so much love and respect for you, because what you do every single day, you know, and people don't know your pain because they don't walk in your shoes, but I just think what you do every single day, I mean, him losing a cousin and going social with it, he human, but a lot of people understand that these streets now are so different because, you know, what happened in 82, what happened in the penitentiary, you know, it's all different. Some of these guys, and I know you're going to elaborate on it, they was the toughest dudes on the street. And then when they came through the penitentiary, you know, they realized, you know, that they wasn't going back out. Y'all seen a different side of them, you know. And I know, you know, you've seen, you know, guys that get to sell and all of a sudden now they just, it's a whole different ballgame, you know what I'm saying?
Over foolishness, a basketball game, you know, in Park Heights. You know what I mean? Just out here, man, it's crazy now. It's kids out here is deadly, man. You know, and us as black people, man, we dying so fast. Between the ages of 16 and 25, we gone.
Like a lot of people doing, like a lot of times, they really don't even say if you got life like Dennis did. You don't even really think that you're going out. Some people got 40 years, 50 years, they don't even see the window of them going out. So then they concentrate more on just making it through the day. You may say, and then you live day by day just trying to make it through. And you're doing men bits. I mean, you're holding your principles as a man. But then it comes a time when I say, like, man, you're going home from here. So then you got to concentrate more on when you release from there. Start looking at what you're going to do after the bit. Even though there's a distance in looking away from it, but it's a lot you got to work on. And on that platform, that since I've been in, I've been working on, a system to try to move forward, and it goes with criminal justice reform. And to me, criminal justice reform is like everybody. I mean, I came out, my passion is to try to do as much as I can for the city. And it don't have to be like, well, when you catch a bit, it's try to prevent you from getting a bit. It's a bunch of different programs. Everybody can work together to keep their independence and concentrate on the victim as well. It ain't just about us. It's about both sides. It's all sides. From a political perspective, from a community perspective, you got to work from a collective thing to put this together. That's the only way that's going to work. It just can't be one side.
So Peter, you left the street in 1982. How much time did you receive? And how did you react? I mean, I know the story, but when you got your sentence, how much time did they give you? And what was the first thing in your mind when you got that time? Because I think a lot of people don't know how real that is, to get that time, then realize, like you said about Dennis having life, but having to do 50 years in your mind, like where do you start? And I know you said on a day-to-day basis, men being men, but how did it affect you in terms of knowing that you had so much time for not killing nobody, but just for selling narcotics? Or you can elaborate on what your sentence was for.
Yeah, it was 50 years for continued criminal enterprise. After that, I was in a couple of years, and I got 30 more years for conspiracy to continue to sell drugs. But when you get to like how you do your time, I look at it like every day you do it day by day. And then you just try to do the best you can today, this week, and then go into next week. And I used to talk to Dennis about when we was in the penitentiary. He said, man, my goal was to make it to the finish line. It's a long ways off, but you just take 1 week at it, one day at a time, 1 week at a time, and it goes into a month. And if you keep doing the best you can every week and pushing forward, you're taking little steps, and then before you know it, for me it was unbelievable, but it's the day that you leave out of here. And it took 37 years.
What was the first thing you noticed that was different when you got out? I know it hasn't been that long time, but for me, the first thing I remember was police, just lights and cameras like on every pole. And I was like, what the hell is that? It was like a siren on every corner in the city. And it's showing everything. People that grew up overnight, but the first thing I noticed that had changed, that I remember seeing when I first got out, was the police lights. What's the first thing you see when you came back that changed?
The first thing I saw, it was before I came back, but as I came back, it was the pain that the city was going through, the hopelessness and the despair that the city was going through. And I understand why the kids are acting the way they're acting. They're young. Because everything been taken.
Right.
Once everything been taken from you, you look at your parents, it ain't nothing there. You look in the refrigerator, ain't nothing there. You go down the street, there's a bunch of vacant houses. And you start chasing that. And they're the things that, if you want to talk about criminal justice reform, it's about trying to help the communities. You mean, they ain't have to go to jail, don't have to go to jail for that.
Yeah, it's like they Jules like he's just been here the whole time. Dennis, how you say you like in 37 years?
Right.
And
38.
30, I'm sorry, I don't want to take nothing from you. 38 years. 38. What do you think about reform? You've been doing a lot of beautiful things in the community since you've been home, and you've been getting acclimated. I mean, you really one of the voices of the city in terms of the reform, as I see it, because I think you walk it and you live it, and your heart in the right place, and you want to give back. But just tell a little bit about what you've been through, and when you got your time, and what you think need to be changed from where it was to where it is to where it needs to be.
I think back when I got my time, I was ready for it. I mean, I had been conditioned, as a little kid to think that it's just going to happen anyhow. I spent my teens in juvenile, medium, so by the time I was 28, when I got arrested this time, going to prison, it wasn't no big shock or nothing. Even hearing him say life sentence, because it became inevitable to me. I said, well, here it is. It's about time to go in. And what I started doing is this. I blended in with the prisoners at first. The first 7 years I did all the crazy stuff, running wild, with drugs, and same when I was on the street. It was like continuing.
How much time did you have?
A life sentence.
Yeah, life sentence?
Natural life sentence, yeah.
A natural life sentence?
Right, which means plus with somebody like me, parole board not even consider you. So you thinking, well, this is it. Make best of this right here. And I stayed like that for about 7, 8 years before I started to realize, that it can be something different. It can make it different. Just because I started out like that, I don't have to finish up like that. And so I started putting emphasis in the more positive things. I got away from all the drugs, and started going to school and getting the program and stuff like that. And I started really believing. Then I started really believing. But other people told me, man, you can do something. You can change. The strangest thing I remember seeing, and they had stores on the tier where guys would sell soda and potato chips. This guy came down one day and bought a soda and potato chips and went upstairs and hung himself. I saw him when he come downstairs, bought a soda and potato chips like you do every day. The cap time, he went upstairs when the police came around 20 minutes later. Keys on four, man, dead, man. I was thinking like, is that gonna be me? 1 minute I'm buying sodas and potato chips, next thing who does that? You think you might go kill yourself, you think about being all the signs there, like you see him getting sad, you see him staying by himself, but he's blending in with everybody else, just went out there and checked out.
So what do you think now needs to be done to help reform? I know with your acclimation process, you have been partnering with a lot of community activists such as T and myself, and you do a lot of things to generate a lot of knowledge and wisdom from men amongst yourself, like yourself. So what do you think reform is and should be, particularly in Baltimore? What do you see direction is going? What needs to be done to make sure that it really helps people who need it?
I think whoever wants to be involved in trying to make a change, you have two things, a lot of them. That's consistency and patience. But I mean consistency, like you got to be willing to do the same thing over and over, regardless of any visible signs of progress. Sometimes when you're playing basketball, you look up to the score, you got to do. You don't see no score out in the street. Sometimes you might think they're not listening. People still getting killed, but you got to come up with a plan. Keep on executing that plan on a daily basis. And consistency is not only doing the same thing over and over. Consistency is also making sure that your behavior is consistent with your speech. In other words, make sure that things you're preaching to people about, make sure you're doing those things yourself. And understand that you're being watched. Because kids learn with their eyes, they don't learn with their ears. You tell them something, they hear you, but if they see you do something, they don't believe you. And we want to believe you, so we got to be consistent in that manner. And be patient, because it didn't happen with us. So when we started talking about some advice people gave me over the years, and I rejected until they got to my time. And the idea is to load them up with that advice. So when that time comes when they want to change, they know how to change. See, some people, when they want to change, they don't know what to do. Then the light go on and they'll find that information you gave them one day. The knowledge you share with them, they'll see it and they say, okay, well, I know my way out of this thing. But you can't really do that until they want to be out. What you can do is show them what the way out is, looks like.
So Bruce, I mean, I remember like yesterday when you caught your time. How much time did you have, and how much hope did you actually have about getting out? Because I remember me and you used to communicate, and I told you I had a dream. In Islam, certain things you're supposed to do or say. But I told you that I knew you was getting out, and you kept saying, man, inshallah, you know, hope you come, you know. And I remember just come to see you. I think it was Family Day or something like that, you know. And I always, you like, man, hopefully I come on one day to be able to get out there with you one day to do the good things you're doing. But I felt it in my heart that you was getting out. I know, and then, you know, I'm a crybaby anyway, but I'm a gorilla too. But when you got your sentence almost, well, I'm gonna use the word exonerated, you know, in terms of post-conviction, and I was in the court when the judge gave you your second lease on life, you know, to me it was surreal because I remember when you went in, and I know a lot of people we lost, you know, your mom, your pops, you know, and being able to come back out here. And again, you know, I always joke with him about him not being locked up, that he was actually in the county on the run or the country on the run somewhere hiding. Because he did 30-something years, he come home, he hasn't increased the recidivism. I mean, he got jobs, he got a car, I mean, he did everything, and he said because he had good health, but still it starts with self. So, you know, how much time did you have, and how did you feel when you did it? What you think need to be done to help people from going through what you've been through?
Well, total opposite from Dennis. I had the same thing, life. I did 32 years. This is my first time ever being incarcerated, period. First charge, all that. And for me, when I got the time, it was like, wow, how am I going to do this? Then going into the penitentiary, hearing the noise, and just looking up and saying, wow, I'm in the penitentiary. But for me, I played ball. And ball got me through my bit. You know what I mean? It's like I came in, I was good, but then over the years I got better. So ball got me through my bit. And for like the first 12, 13 years, it's like I'm brand new. I'm in a totally unknown environment. So first thing I knew what to do was mind my business. It's like, then after a little while, it's like, man, you are who you are, and that's it. I can be me. Only me. I can't be nobody else, so I'm going to be me. Brand did, getting high, doing all those stuff like that. Then like 12 years into my business, like, man, this for the birds. You know what I mean? I'm running around, getting high with dudes, doing things with dudes. And once I got clean, I'm looking at the dudes who I'm running around with. It's like, man, for real, I don't have nothing in common with these dudes. So, other than the fact that running, trying to find out who got what.
So, when you went in so young, and after you decided to walk the right path in prison, you had a lot of young guys that probably came in, had time like yourself, or more time. What was your advice to them when they came in? And did anything happen in there that really say, you know what, damn, like, I know one day I'm gonna get out. You know, like, no, did you really have faith that one day the governor was going to commute your sentence, you get a pardon, or something's going to happen? Because sometimes, I mean, you know, me being in that situation and filing all these petitions to the court, doing all this post-conviction, you know, remedies, and then seeing so many people fail, you know, whether it be certificate of credibility, Cornovas, doing everything you can do to get out, and then you see so many people fail. What kept you hopeful, and what did you do to the younger guys that came in that you knew for a fact was walking in the same footsteps?
Well, one, like I said, this is my first time ever being incarcerated. And I gave somebody the gun that essentially that was used in the murder.
Right.
And I didn't testify against my rap battle.
Right.
So in my heart, it's like I always knew somewhere, somehow, I was coming home. So like I said, once I changed from doing all the, you know, other stuff that I was doing, I started programming, going to school. I went to Catholic school from the 1st to the 12th grade, graduated, won a basketball scholarship, got in penitentiary, and I love going to school in the penitentiary. Outside, it's like, man, I'm just going to school because I had to go to school. But once I started going to school, and it's like I actually love going to school. And once they killed that college program, it's like, man, I was done because I was almost 3 semesters short from getting my BA. But like I said, I started programming, doing different programs. And that's what I started doing, playing ball, doing different programs, and just being an example like that.
The same question I asked Peanut, and Dennis, when they came home, what did you notice that had changed the most? And in terms of actual reform, what do you think need to be done to change some of the laws, whether it be from a legislation perspective or just getting people engaged to actually care about their community so they can stop killing each other or whatever? I mean, because to me, reform not just prison, it's changing your mindset. And that's just my perspective, getting everybody on the same page and the same accord so we can live together and be in harmony, but more importantly, understand exactly what the objective is, in terms of whether you be in the community, education, recreation. A lot of times when I came up, we had something to do. Now, to Nuts' point of view, you see vacant houses, you become so immune to failure that you think you're going to fail.
I do HVAC now. So you see all these houses around the city. It's like it's no opportunities, it's limited opportunities for these kids around the city. Vacant houses, that's the opportunities right there. And there's so many different things that you can do that they can do. And it's a skill that, okay, I can go to school right now and get my doctorate. For become a lawyer, doctor, and I might lose my job tomorrow. But HVAC, how many people need their heat and their air conditioning done? So these different jobs these kids can do if given the opportunity. So that's like one thing right there. It's a broad opportunity. Just having something that that they can do. And the other thing, I do trash removal. So it's different things that you can do in the city to give these kids in the city an opportunity to do and let them do.
So OT, unfortunately, me and you met at a time where we both felt the need to help Baltimore. From a social media perspective, you go out here every day and you canvass the city, you find people that have been affected by crime and violence, and you use your story to uplift people not only in East Baltimore, but in entire Baltimore. You one of the few individuals that, like he said, are consistent. I think what happened to you, and you can tell your own story, has made you poster child with disrespect for that cause.
In Lewisburg Federal Penitentiary at the time, in 1994, Lewisburg went down as one of the second dangerous penitentiaries in the United States, and that was during the time Rafer Evans was in there. And seeing an old man that had already done 43 years, man, was sharing cubes together. We go out to Unicor, man, and they shut the jail down. I come back, man, they told me the old man died. And then in Lewisburg, like if you look over the wall, you can see the cemetery. And the man had lost all contact with relatives uptown, and they buried him on the other side of that wall, man. And that did something to me, along with the situation that happened with Rafer Evans and that, man. Just seeing when we got locked down that day, and they had everybody locked down for almost 4 hours, man. And when they released us, no one knew what was going on. And when they turned the TV on, it was almost systematic that when they turned it on, news came on, and we seen Rafer Evans with a Lewisburg blanket thrown over his head going into the courtroom. And history, y'all know the history from that. So,
what changed you to start thinking about not only reform, but just being an activist in terms of the community? And I know that some people want change, but they don't go as hard as you go to see change, And I'm going to further this discussion when I ask you, who can we hold accountable, who can we ask for immediate relief, like, whether it be the mayor, the governor, the president. But for reform, in your perspective, what you think need to change? And what are you doing to change it, if not something that we all have done? But what are you doing individually to change it, what you think needs to be done in terms of reform?
Well, for me, being out there every day, man, wrestling with them young brothers, man, they lack love, man. They just can't seem to figure it out, and just communicating with them, man, and then, developing that relationship and that bond where you don't really let them know you accept what they're doing, but understand why they're doing what they're doing, because I've been there, and it's painful, man, to hear their stories and know their plight. Know the ones, man, that's this like in triple darkness, man, and knowing where I've been at and how painful it was for me. So it's like I'm connected to that pain more than anything, man. And I know I just know where they at, man. It's almost like I can sometimes feel, man, when I'm dying at night. When I leave from their presence, like, wow, man, I hope we make it through the night. And so it's the consistency and the perseverance, man, and never giving up, just being relentless and trying to help these brothers, man. Because it's easy to quit, man, when you're looking at it with your eyes. Because your eyes saying it's not going to change. But my vision knows different. And so I just constantly just pound on it. And then with the loss of my son, this had to go on the scene and see my little kid, my firstborn, with those bullet holes in it, man. And then preach this funeral, man. Preach this funeral because I knew I could tell the story more than anyone, And that day I preached this funeral, almost like 400 men was in that room, man. And a lot of them was BGF members, man, truth be told. And I said, I'm going to ask a question. How many men in here that doesn't have any fathers? And, man, literally, man, about 300 brothers, man, started to stand up. I said, my son is there because I wasn't there, man. I said, and even if I was there, I was so messed up, I might have been in a casket with him. That's what woke me up, man. My son passing away, I took that tragedy and rather let it make me bitter, I let it make me better.
I met you several times, and you so quiet, you so humble, and I can only tell you that from being around a lot of individuals who've been incarcerated, it seems to me, and I don't know if y'all guys feel the same way, the ones who did the most save the less. And the ones who do the less say the most. So you got a guy who do 3 months and 2-3 years, and he, you know what I'm saying? And you walk around, you like, this guy tough as nails. But if you see a guy like you who did 30-something years, and I would have never known that because of, and I don't know if prison made you humble or you just reserve your integrity as a man and say, you know what, that didn't make me, that's not going to define me, this is who I am. I'm going to present myself as the man I am regardless of where I am. Because I wasn't incarcerated with you, but when I see you at these meetings and stuff, I never knew your story. I never knew that you did that kind of time in jail. So can you just tell us, how much time you had, how you feel when you had it, and what was the process like getting, I guess, prison acclimated, and then did you think you was getting out?
Yeah. Well, I went to prison when I was age 17. I was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole. And like a lot of young guys when they come inside the Maryland Penitentiary or Division Correction in itself, you hear all the hard stories, like T. Dennis and a lot of people that sit in this room. I went from training school, straight to courtside, out on bail, court of murder, and but I always knew I was gonna get out of prison. And the reason being because dissatisfaction is the prime motive for change. I was dissatisfied with the way I was living. And so through the course of my incarceration, like Dennis, the first 7 years of my incarceration, I was like hell on wheels. I was fighting correctional officers, fighting, other convicts. And then in 1985, an older convict by the name of George Smith asked me if I want to die in prison. I said, no, I don't want to die in prison. He said, well, come up to a Cap JC meeting. It was on a Monday night. I ain't had no obligation, so I went up there. It was that meeting that changed me and basically empowered me to see things a lot different. So from there, I went on to get my GED, had the opportunity to go to college. I created a couple of programs while I was there. And we always used the 5 Ps. Preparation, right? Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So I already knew that I was coming home. And all the work that I was doing, whether I was doing things for victim awareness, the House of Ruth and cancer research, I always did a lot of positive things. And then one day, I found the reason why I was doing all these things. In 2009, we're watching Channel 13, breaking news, husband shoots wife and kills himself. Then I seen the recap the very next morning. That was my sister and her boyfriend. So it was at that moment that I cried for the young man life that I took. So I said, well, what can I do basically to fix this madness? So I started the victim awareness program named the young man with life I took. In 2010, I learned about mental health, where my nephew beat my mother half to death. So this is back to back for me. So do I stay the course, or do I revert back to my prior life? I stayed the course. Thank you. We're not human beings, we're spiritual beings on this human journey. And let them know what God has in store for them. You know, all the biblical text shares our history. You know, everybody know about our history but us. So who better to revamp or fix a situation in Baltimore City of those who want help to tear it down? You know, I've been in that hole with them, and I know the way out. So I bring my expertise in that particular field. I go through a lot of colleges and universities speaking about prison reform and educating 3- and 4-year law students on what's needed in legislation, having that voice, putting together a platform and educating them some power of voting, what that does, because it's our local government that need to change in terms of the opportunities being better. Because we went down to Union Baptist Church and seen all these resources, but the kids in our community don't know about these resources. So we got to do better about educating and getting that message out to these kids.
What do you think about what you went through? How it affected your life? And where you see the street going and where you think it need to go?
I mean, like, I'm kind of like I'm the middle child. Like, these is the peers that I looked up to. Like, they don't know. Like, I'm sitting here like, damn, these guys is. My uncle and my stepfather tell me stories of these guys, but my uncle used to work for him on mopeds. He don't even know that. You know what I'm saying? I heard about how he carried it in the penitentiary. I already told him that these was like my heroes to me. You know, when I was coming up, probably as same thing, I went through training school, all that stuff, because people don't respect nothing but violence on the streets. But when I went to prison, I'm like, damn, the dude with all the power was the smart guy. The smart guy was kind of leading, the violent guy was following the smart guy. So I had to educate myself. So I started off, I took my Shahada, I started off in the Nation of Islam. I stayed on lockup a lot because I had a lower man complex. And I educated myself, and I took my Shahada. And Islam is a way of life. You get what I'm saying? It's not just living in the moment. It's to practice things. You got to be consistent in your thoughts, values, and your actions. A lot of Jews out here dying because they had an identity, they suffer from an identity crisis. Their identity chasing. They don't even know who they are. They don't even know who they are. They doing all this buffoonery on Instagram, and even in real life, if they accepted by people they don't even know. They get a like, press a like. You feel what I'm saying? One of the situations in prison that really changed me is I was young, and I had this thing where as though I had a low tolerance for bullshit, and I really didn't care. I just didn't care what you was or what kind of work you put in back in the day. If I felt like you disrespect me, I'm Donna Brown, so it is what it is. I end up getting to this knife fight. Me and my homies with like 4 other dudes, and this big guy. Now, for some reason, I had to go at him out. That's right now I think about it was very stupid. So I stabbed him. But when I stabbed him, he acted like I stuck him with a stick pin. Like it didn't even affect him. So he hit me, and I was kind of dazed, so I'm on the ground tussling with him, because he got a knife too. And as he over top of me, I see him swinging the knife, but I'm moving, and I can see, because he missed, it was sparks hitting the ground from the knife. It was sparks hitting the ground. So in that moment, I'm like, damn. 2 things I learned. 1, I got the courage to try to do anything I want to do. And the second thing, what a man can try to do to another man. So out of that, I learned how to respect other men, and I chose my path. I stayed in my lane. One thing about being in your own lane is that if you ever decide to slow down, you ain't holding nobody up. But these my heroes. My hero wasn't Michael Jordan. I couldn't touch Michael Jordan. I couldn't talk to Michael Jordan.
I guess from 2 or 3 words that come to your mind, what do you think needs to happen to reform this generation?
Was very, very important. Well, we know reform just simply means change. Socially, economically, politically. But if you want to change these kids, because when I'm out and about, they see my post, they can show me a lot. It's the young dudes that show me a lot of love. They hungry for this. You got to be consistent in your thoughts, values, and actions. They don't see Man, kids learn more about what they see than what you say. They gotta see the change. You can't come to them, man, and talk all this stuff, and then you in the corner with them, popping perks with them, drinking with them. They gotta see it. Because this generation really has a low tolerance for bullshit.
Again, to you saying that you look up to these guys, so did I. I looked up to him without knowing him because I already knew.
Once I heard his real name, I knew.
You know what I'm saying? And then I'm saying, like, you know, if this prison, you talk about Dennis, you know, you talk about Peanuts the street. So it's like, and I'm talking about coming up, and, you know, he called me, and I'm like, I told somebody, to your point, like, man, you know, I like basketball. I didn't love it. But I love what Peanuts stood for. I love what Dennis stood for. And I think what they are doing is so ironic because the same way they led people unknowingly to being what they was, they had the power to lead people to where they are now without going through what they've been through. And to me, that's a purest form of reform because you have people who not only can use their testaments as real life, they prophets to me. Like, you know, you don't have to necessarily die to be a prophet. You know, to me, you know, I'm thinking and not putting people on a holy platform. I'm saying, but in real life, I look at what the streets are, and I was telling them downstairs that coming up, man, you know, in the 80s, man, if you had anything over rent money, they was like, he trying to be like Peanut King.
It was crazy.
It was a narrative that everybody, and he probably didn't ask for that. I have faith and faith that it could be done with the information in this room. See, I don't tell people all the time, I don't know if Saddam Hussein was a good guy or bad guy. I don't know that. I don't know if Osama bin Laden was a bad guy. I don't know that. All I know is what the news tells me. But I know what these guys can do. And I've seen it, and I know the power of men. And for me, it's history and very historical because I never thought in my lifetime that I'd be having a man-to-man conversation with Peanut King, Dennis Wise, Pluge. No, I never thought that possible. And I'm saying, for me to be who I am and me knowing what I've been through in my life and how little kids look up to me or look over at me, and to know that these are the guys that I look up to speaks value in terms of changing their entire narrative, incorporating logic and experience. Because their experience beats everybody in City Hall opinion. You know, the state legislature, you know, they always talk about the acclimation process or, you know, the recidivism here, you know, there. I'm saying, man, talk to the guys who know how it works. This guy been home, you know, for 3 years. He ain't caught a speeding ticket. You don't need nobody from Buffalo to come tell you how to do it. Just put them in play.
Let me add to that. You know, education is basically learning. Like, education is learning what you didn't even know you didn't know. And what we didn't know is that the greatest lie you can tell is the one you tell to yourself. So once you stop lying to yourself, like I said with the identity crisis, then change can come. So we'll sit, we'll talk all day to these kids, but if they gotta want to change, but what makes them want to change is seeing it.
Yes.
You talk to them and then they call you, they want to pick you, you don't pick the phone up. You already lost them. You know what I'm saying?
They think you're gonna do what everybody's done to them, you know, talk about them, don't talk to them. I thank you for that. Made it, my man. Made up in this story.
What's up, man? Always a pleasure. When you gonna drop that single?
I'm about to drop like 3 days. My shit going to finish up.
Yo, take the record.
Nice to meet you.
You heard me?
Welcome back.
When you was coming up, who you look up to?
Man, too many really.
I mean, it could have been anybody. I mean,
One of them I was in right now, Fly Feet.
who?
Fly feet,
Fly Feet.
Good man.
They've been knocking up to 65,
Been out to 65?
54 years.
Yeah. Now, who you look up to?
Well, for me, it was I was in the bottom. I mean, so only thing I looked up is trying to make it out of there.
And you hustled in Baltimore. Most people, based on the media giving you that platform, everybody want to be like you. So, coming up in Baltimore, I mean, I heard the stories of the Pee Wee Matthews and the Frank Johns from New York, but was anybody in Baltimore that you looked up to that you know what, say, man, this guy gave me the game. I got my morals and my principles from him. And That's my big homie. That's what I mean. Like, who was your big homie?
And my big homie was the guy that got passed away with Willie Bird.
Willie Bird?
Yeah, that was my big homie. That was, and to go, even with the program today, we didn't get into it over there, that I think that everybody should get together, all the different programs, and start listening to the young a lot more. You mean, to see where they are and what things they need in order to make change, along with what we do. You mean, they got to get a voice, you mean, to hear them.
There's one right there, Young Moose.
It's funny, I told, a lot of people don't understand, Moose is not only my favorite people in the world. Like, he's somebody that I got genuine love for getting music. He a good person. And I mean, like, he a street guy. And for me, growing up, never trusting police, never had to deal with authority. Knowing that when I came home, I had to like try to be positive as possible for my children. But not only that, my son was in the music, and I remember an incident 3 years ago on my birthday. Police had called me, which was a cousin, and said, man, so we're gonna take these guys off the street. They causing all this conflict. You know him? I said, no, I don't know him, but I can get to know him before you try to lock him up. Let me try to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? They had an idea of everybody was beefing. So they kept thinking that it was going to be something similar to what happened with Anthony Jones and them back in the day, where we going to become all these murders. So I called Musa and said, listen, man, police talking about doing X, Y, Z. You can trust me. Let's come talk about it, resolve this shit, man. You do your music, whatever, man, but don't let them people take your life away. He showed up with his father, and I had so much respect for him because
I was ready to get out of there.
he trusted me. You see, and I'm talking about from a street dude to come to where somebody telling you, man, listen, we got similar to what we do now, but it was more like, and he been my favorite ever since then, you know. And to your point, now he is the voice, he uses music, but he's just a good person, man. Like, you know, like a lot of guys, they get platforms, man, and I mean, like, if he called me from here to Aruba, I'm gonna go. I mean, there's not too many people out there for like, oh, okay, what do you need? I'm coming. Because every time I called him, he been there. I'm talking about every single time. You know, and I don't find that many young guys that feel like they understand the importance of having a big homie, you know what I'm saying? And I wanted him here because he is someone I respect and is young. And we were talking earlier about reform. You was affected by dirty cops. You was affected by a lot of things that happened in your life. And I know how much you love your daughter. I know how much you love your freedom. And we were just trying to tell guys about when I came up. And I know you heard the war stories, me and Baltimore about Nut. I heard some of the same things too. But like Nut said, y'all guys are the voice. Y'all the future. I think me and Dennis was talking a few weeks ago. I think we should definitely you did too about people around the city finding ways to, you know, stop conflict. And you said something too I wanted to talk about. You was like, one of y'all said, don't wait for it to happen, stop it from happening. Somebody said that. You know, I'm about, you know, intervention. I'm about prevention. I don't really like intervention too much. Sometimes it's too late, because at that point, when you shot, you know, and he shot you, it's like hard. Be like, yo, forgive that man. You know what I'm saying? It's hard. But if I can stop the shooting from some type of way, then y'all still leaving. But when you just shot him, he like, man, you still want me, man, trying to kill me. You want me to shake his hand? It's hard. You know, it's hard. And I mean, that's where we are at. And like you say, people shoot and kill now, man, without even a pause. And I get it, you know, but that's why these stories at this table from these legends, these influential people, like you, like they need to know that you did 38 whatever. They need to know that. They need to see you, and they need to understand that that's real. But honestly, they need to also see that when, even if you have life with parole, a lot of guys don't make it out. They give up after doing 10 years. They run that bid all the way up. I know the fastest seen guys, they run that whole bid up. They get 20, 30 years, you know, and in the feds, you gotta do 85% of your time. You gotta earn, you know, you gotta earn a good time, you know, and you gotta walk a tight line to get them 54 days. Because, you know, they play with you.
Like I've been hearing for the last couple of weeks, like a lot of what's been going on, and but I haven't heard too much about how we're going to approach it. You know, so I think we should start looking. It's a good time to start with putting out the what and start looking at the how.
You know, that's an interesting point, bro. Piggyback off of that. I got Moose the other day, me, Moose, a couple other young guys along with my son. We went to the studio. It was kind of a little human, but he was putting together a song. He said, Uncle T, man, you know what I mean? I can't cuss, man. I said, no, you can't cuss in this video. He said, man, that's going to be hard, man. And he pulled it off. You know, we got it together. Your son supposed to close it out. We waiting for him to do his part. But I say that to say that people see the worst in him. I see the best in him. Just before he went to jail this time around, because I believed in him so much, I'm literally standing on the bed where he's on the bed and the police all over him. I knew that if I was not there, they probably could have killed him. They probably would have killed him. They probably said he did something. And I mean, I'm literally on the bed, and they got the gun to me and him.
Yeah, he keeps saying, where's the gun at?
And I say that to say that I believe so much in this young man, because I see his heartbeat. And he's like a son to me, and I work with him strongly, man. And I know that if you want to affect change, you go to those that can create change. And he has basically, man, when it comes down to this young generation, he has a lot of influence over him. So I believe our objective is to continue to sow into him, you know, and have him to show that other side of him, you know, to bring out that other side of him more, you know, because we see the side that the public shows us, that the system shows us, but I also know that side of him, man, that loving father that protects his daughter by any means necessary, that part of him, man, that I mean, I believe that the system doing everything in their power to try to destroy that part of him that the world sees, not the part that they don't see.
And to me, I see the city like the city is crying out. I got 37 years and I only been out for close to a month. And for years I've seen the city crying out. You mean, and there's a lot of young men. The thing is like, how are we going to approach this? You mean, and deal with these issues, because they every day on the ground issues. You mean, and it's going to take everybody, and it just ain't going to be taught. You mean, so then when you get to that, it's a big job. And I'm trying to do little things with, try to create fundraising, different events, so I can try to be prepared to move forward with some of the things, because I just can't do it, just talk. You mean, so I just started trying to get events, try to put together fundraising committees, and try to create income so I can start continue to push. Because just talking about it really ain't gonna work. The thing is, how we want to do this, start putting in the work and make this happen. Putting in the work and make this happen.
Well, one of the things I can guarantee you, I mean, as a man of my word, and I think everybody who has been able to be a part of my movement, is that the people I deal with is all from the community. And I'm telling you this now in front of all these people at this table and on this camera, that anything that you're trying to do to further the cause, I'm with you 1,000%. I know Shoe City with you 1,000%. I know my brother Henry Jones, I know he's gonna be behind. I know people who I know gonna back me up to make sure that you got what you need. So one, as I said before, you're a man. And your mission to restore hope and prosperity in the same community that you once governed needs your presence, you know, and it needs your experience. I think Moose said it best one time, I don't know if he said it on the video or a post, he said, man, the old guys let him down. A lot of guys left, you know. Now guess what? They back, right? So we back. So to your point, there is work to be done, you know. And I never was hopeless to a point where as though we couldn't change the conversation to a point where as though, you know, 100 people got killed. Because, you know, people got caught. You got mental health issues, as you allude to. It's going to be things that we can't avoid. But I feel strongly that with the right men in the room, with the right resources, and the right platform, it can work. You can't get disheartened or disconnected from the moral compass because it's people who don't know nothing about Peanut King or Stokey who don't give a damn. You got people that's 20 years old and who out there now, and you know you was in prison when they was born. So it's like right now, I'm about to say, damn, now who you listen to? You probably still listen to OJs, right? You know, we listen to Usher. Like, man, I ain't listen to that young hip hop, but
I'm listening to young hip hop.
But I'm saying, like, you know, it's all about relationship. That's good to know because now you can relate to those guys. But I'm here for you, man. Like, I'm telling you, man, I was telling him, I do my best to stay firm in my beliefs because I don't try to get too emotional to a point where as though things get lost in translation. But it's so humbling to me to be in the room with the same men that influenced my life without even knowing it. And I'm telling you this because a lot of guys that I grew up with didn't make it to tell you that. You know, a lot of guys are still incarcerated. You know, violence is something that I learned from you guys. Like, I remember hearing the folklores, man, you can't get money and commit crime, you know what I'm saying? And although I wanted a moped, I wanted, you know, all those things because I seen the Bobby Amos and others. I remember those stories as he spoke about his opening up. But I'm saying today, as we sit here together trying to find a resolution, and it's bigger than just Puma trying to find reform. I think in Baltimore, where they so hopeless and so desensitized, that Moose can be a pioneer, he a pioneer, and you the anchor, and guys like Dennis and Wayne, and all these producers, everybody over T. I just think together, because right now I tell you all the time, for me, I think you said it best, like, I have a hard problem with hypocrites. You know, one of the reasons why all y'all guys here, because there's no doubt on my mind, there's no suspects at this table, man. Ain't no suspects about nobody telling. That ain't never gonna come up. You know, ain't no suspects about nobody being a man. And I take pride in working with men. So like at the end of the day, there's no doubt in my mind what these men gonna do. And I just feel like when we spoke about the government officials earlier, like I wanna hold them accountable. Like I wanna ask y'all, I mean, who do we think, I mean, that's really responsible in terms of being the turnkey to Baltimore? And I'm not saying just a mayor or a governor, I'm talking about in general, because to me, I'm in a position where I'm like, yo, I want to hold unarmed accountable. I want to hold the Ravens accountable. I want to hold the Orioles accountable.
Next door neighbor.
I want to hold men accountable.
Right.
I mean, so everybody should step up at this point. You know what I mean? And I got respect, I got passion for it. I'm all for this.
So how do you talk to men though, you know, who like, yo, man, I'm a mind my business, them youngers wild? Because see,
you can't help it. You know, I can't help the guy that say that. I mean, I'm helping the guy that say they want some help and they're ready to do things. I mean, some people you can't help them right now. Maybe they kick in down the line a year or two, or maybe they got to do 37 like I did. I mean, but
you know, that's always been the case. Even though when we was in, and I pitched the idea to the individual about the victim awareness program, as far as guys asking themselves for forgiveness, looking for some form of remorse or redemption within themselves. They looked at me like I was crazy. You know, but now when they went through the program and experienced it, and then they reversed the roles, they feel the pain of these mothers that come in here and talk about, well, how her son was killed, you know what I mean, or how her daughter was raped and molested and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So when you go through all that, we can see some of the toughest guys break down and cry.
But I want to know from a judicial perspective and legislation, how can we put pressure on the people? Because most of that, I don't think nobody at this table didn't go to the law library. You know, I don't think nobody, you know.
That's where the part becomes to the political aspect. We got to educate our people in our community of their rights to vote. You know what I mean? And hold the politicians basically accountable. You know what I mean? We say you're doing this in this particular area, not doing it, we got to hold them accountable.
As we saying at the meeting, when you came out of our meeting last time, we was down there trying to figure out how we get 10,000 votes together. That's a big number. Right. If we got 10,000 votes together, we can pick the governor. You know, that's just, we try to understand the political powers on the power that really matters in something like this.
That's what we have to change.
You know, instead of asking the man to give us something, we choose what man based on what they give us.
And that's so funny. That's why I wanted you to say it, because when, you know, again, when I give y'all the numbers in terms of the crime that have been committed in terms of homicide over the last 5 years, right? Also in 2015, Baltimore was one of the cities that I can think of that made history worldwide, and it never happened again. It never happened again. We had a black president, we had a black attorney general, we had a black mayor, we had a black police commissioner, we had a black state's attorney, we had a black city council president. But in Baltimore, we still committed more murders than any other year of the '93. So to me, people have to stop voting for complexion. One of the things I want to do is make sure that I don't abbreviate, but I carry the responsibility of everybody at this table agenda and objective. So like if Nuts say, you know what man, Stoke, I'm trying to get 10 buses over East Baltimore and, you know, create a recreation center and, you know, Dennis says, Stoke, I want to get 10,000 votes, you know, and Boo says, Stoke, I think we need to get some studios in the hood, form a new recreation department, you know. To me, those ideas are ways that we form our community to get people back, you know, to where you say we need to go in accordance to the 400-year premise. Because I know for a fact that we mentally dead.
I like when Sheila Dixon was in office. Because, you know, she pushed, you know, shaving all, they pushed for the recs, you know, after school programs, all that. We got none of that. It's gone, so what the kids gonna turn to? The streets. You go to the streets, raise them, then you have kids having kids. You know what I mean? If you have a child and you have no education, and your kids see you jumping from man to man or woman to woman, you know what I mean? What you think they gonna do? You know what I mean? Instead of being a parent, you wanna be your child's friend. You smoking weed with them, you saying it's okay. You know what I mean? You 24 years old, you got a kid, you know what I mean? 13, 12, come on.
You know, I'm real big on culture vulture. I'm real big on misusing your time and your resources because, you know, again, we all study different things when we was incarcerated. And I mean, whether it was philosophy or psychology that I studied, I knew that it was 1,440 minutes in a day. I know it was 10,080 minutes in a week. I know when them minutes were gone, it was gone. But then I know Peanut lost money, Dennis lost money, you lost money. Y'all can get that money back, but you can't get the time back. And I don't want nobody waste no more of y'all time. And I know for a fact these people who want to vote, right? And they have us do all these things and we support their agenda and their objective. And I'm not being negative, I'm just being real. Yeah, I want to find ways to support the men who I know can help bring change and not excuses because I see it time and time again. All y'all guys was locked up, I think I was in 2015. And that was supposed to be the time that Baltimore rose above the fray. But it didn't. They got documentation on Baltimore rising, Baltimore dying. In 2015, Freddie Gray was number 70. In April, he was homicide number 70. After he died, 274 more people got killed. So he was the reason that they started the uprising because everybody's protesting the killing. So you would think that that would be the reason why everybody come together, like we gonna form some type of solidarity, like listen man, this is what we doing. But that didn't happen, and all the people that we thought would come to Baltimore and save us, to somebody's point, they never came. And I think somebody said it about kids. You tell a kid something, kids started that. Like kids started that whole conflict with the police.
Right.
What no 40-something-year-old guy out there bucking with no police. No kids started throwing the rocks. They started the whole riot. They was frustrated.
I developed a strong relationship with Amy and Darrell. Amy is a 5-year-old who was the sister of Taylor that got killed last summer. And the relationship that I developed between Amy and Darrell, I even have them at my table down at the center because they are survivors. And I'm just thinking about building a nucleus around them. You know, use them as a platform, you know, to really get the message out there, man, how haphazard, you know, and reckless that young guys are being. And this shoot, man, they just coming through this shoot, man, with no thought whatsoever. They know their target is there, but they also see other people around, but they still start popping. You know, so those two right there is one of the two that I'm looking forward to giving something down at the Cultural Arts Center and just trying to build something from them. You know, using them, you know, being in contact with the grandmothers of both of them. You know, Amy father came through there last week, totally strung out on heroin. He's literally in the room. His daughter got killed last summer. He's looking at his other daughter who's going through trauma that he can't even begin to figure out how to deal with it. So I believe that he's just putting a Band-Aid over an open wound. You know, probably just can't deal with it. But I'm sitting there telling him, man, there's nothing you can do at this point for your children but to get sober, clean yourself up, man. And maybe there's a chance you can, you know, get back into your daughter's life, man, and try to straighten out some things, man, that you didn't, you know, drop the ball on. And Darrell, also with his mother strung out on drugs, the 3-year-old, they got grades. So their 2 grandmothers are taking care of both of them right now. And I'm just thinking, when you said that, how can we use a situation and rally around that cause, and then just expand from there? But I believe that's a golden opportunity that we was for to build on that. And the grandmothers are for it. They comes down at the center, and we discuss issues like that.
That's what I say. So we really talking about like saving the community and bettering it and stuff, though, right?
Right.
So I say like we need like we gotta make it like fun again. Like we gotta make, you know how back in the day it used to be fun. Everybody was getting money and stuff like that. It wasn't that much killing. I think we gotta just try to build little stuff, just have certain stuff going on a lot for the kids, you feel me? Make sure they having fun and try to just open up doors for people to just make money just some type of way, you feel me? And it was something, and I think like we need like a little, like a daycare. You know how people be charging for people to watch their kids. We need a free daycare where though, you feel me, if their kids ain't got nowhere to go, they can just bring them to a little spot. We got, you feel me, stuff that kids need in there so they ain't gotta be out on the street. You feel me, like a little girl got shot, she got shot because her father wasn't with her. Somebody else was watching his daughter, you get what I'm saying? So I just think
One of the programs we want to set up for the community is free daycare. And the way I looked at it is like every parent that have a child in free daycare, we give up 20 hours community service, you mean, to help out, you mean, for that.
Right.
You mean, so that they give them back to the community. You mean, so it's and they can do it in different ways. If they can't be around kids, they can do it with fundraising projects.
Right.
You mean, if they can read or drive somebody here, do this, but they can participate in community awareness in some kind of way for 20 hours per kid per month.
That's smart. I had came up with an idea, solution about a family resource center, right? And I was like saying, the city has so many vacant property that they can donate some of those properties and help come up with one in the east and one in the west. And to his point, it would be a daycare, it would be a library, it would be recreation, it would be education, it would be mental health,
Right.
it would be people to talk to. If you lost a loved one, you can go grievance counselor. Guys can go there and play checkers and chess. You say, bring the fun back
The
and give
holistic approach.
right, and give everybody an experience, because for the most part, I mean, we of being a people of sound mind, we get along with almost nothing. Right? We have been able to survive with almost nothing. Now with these drugs, and you know, before Scarface said that y'all guys said don't get high off your own supply, you know, and now these guys are getting high who's selling drugs, and now they're not thinking. And to your point, their kids are not important to them. They just come by, they disconnected. So
What we try to do, the main objective is to stop the violence. You know, stop the guys from killing each other and unify them like, you know, and now they got it so bad that one block beef with the next block. You know, and not one side of the city beating the other side. I mean, it's like that. So we got to be unified. And that's the whole idea of this right here. What we did, we said all the groups that's operating in the city, we try to get them to come together. So they don't give up, they still their own boss, they still got their own program, but we work together and meet together and share resources. And we do that, so if you have a situation, you doing that, everybody come to your situation, support you. If police got a affair or something like that, everybody come to police, you know, and once we model, we got to model what we want. We want them to be unified, we got to be unified. We tell them they should be able to get together, you know, and work things out. We should be able to do the same thing. And then what we're doing, so nobody loses that, because that's one of the things we don't join together, because some people think they lose their independence when you do that. You do that if the state or the city is funding you, but we doing it like this, joining resources like that, you still whoever you say you are. You still got your own bylaws, your own constitution, stuff like that. It's just that you're showing up for each other. We have two things. We have a calendar We have a director. The calendar is, say for instance, STP is getting something on March 8th. Challenge to Change is doing something on April 10th. You know, they'll be on the calendar, so all our responsibility to show up, make sure he get as much support as he needs. The second thing is the directory. The directory is to list everybody. Your specialty might be drug cancer. His specialty might be daycare. His might be, you know, whatever. So you look at the directory. Somebody want to find out where to go, they can look at the directory door. So that's what we're trying to build. And so any of y'all, some of y'all already been with Monday every Monday we meet together for that purpose.
Now, you know we got different zones, right? And we say, okay, Oprah, we want you. We want Taylor Swift. We want Michael Jordan. You know, we want John Wall. Y'all part of Zone 4. We don't need y'all money. We need y'all just pour resources. Just tell somebody that's your zone. They want back to school drives. They want to give you all that stuff for free. Just give it to your zone. So it's like a big pie. And we got 20 to 200 celebrities, and they are divided into zones. And their core responsibilities have someone that they can consider like, I don't want to say a chairman of the board, but they got a team captain. And that captain is responsible for communicating directly with those individuals to get those resources in their zone. It could be, you know, you might be designated to be over Northeast Baltimore, and you might be responsible for 17 blocks or 5 blocks. And your sole responsibility is to make sure that their needs. And then in those individuals who have money, we're not asking for money. We saying just give us resources. So therefore, if you know somebody that's donating school supplies, that's your responsibility to do that. If it's Puffy, yours, we have shoes. But all those resources from those 5, 6 individuals are coming to your zone. Moose might have a zone. He might have the coach of the Ravens. He might have, you know, different people, and their job is not to give them money, but use their resources and their relationships to provide for that zone that he's responsible for. And then we have, like you say, a director where as though someone's overseeing it because making sure that, you know, no one is misusing the fund. We're not saying give us money. We're saying just give us the resources. You only got to give us no money at all. Just ship this stuff to somewhere we know we can receive it. You know what I'm saying? And if it's tennis shoes, it's clothes, whatever it may be, your zone, you might, I got 10 blocks. You got 10 blocks. I might got 201, 202. Who you got as your ambassador? Or I got the dude that played tennis. You know, I got Serena Williams. You know what I'm saying? You know, you might have the dude that work at Lang Mason. I'm talking about prominent figures that have resources that we don't really have. And that's a bigger conversation I can have with someone who's at the top to start that because, I mean, they did it with title. They sit at the table with title with Jason, I'm going to give you 3%, you 3%, and they all agreed on it. Now all them owners on title. You know, it can be done if we had that bigger conversation. To your point, I don't mind using my platform. I'm honored and privileged. Like every day I pray, you know, 5 times a day, sometimes 6, sometimes, you know. But like next man up. Like, you know, I'm 49 years old. You know, I'm blessed, you know, to be alive after what I've been through. And as I was telling him earlier, a lot of my homeboys either on drugs, dead, or still locked up. They continue to perpetuate that ignorance of thinking that there's only one way to get money. And I know what I've been through. When I went to prison, not only did I lose relationship with my kids, my mom passed away, everything that could happen to me went wrong. And I always say this particular corner in which I hustled at didn't bring me no good. I can't believe that I sit up here today and did that much damage to my community.
There's no discipline in your household. This time you got a 16-year-old running your household because your mother called on drugs. Yeah, that's not where it's at. You know? I was blessed because, you know what I mean, my mom was a school teacher, my dad was a merchant seaman. So, you know, we had both parents, you know what I mean? And there was 6 of us. 3 boys, 3 girls, and I was the baby. You know what I mean? All of them was doing great. I'm the only one stepped out there like a fool. You know, if I could take it back, I would love to take it back. You know what I mean? And the stuff I learned in prison, you know what I mean? I've done now. It's, man, nigga, I have it. I quit, I tap out. You know what I mean? I'm 50 years old, man, I tap out. And I'm 50, and I gave these people half my life in prison. You know what I mean?
If you could tell anything to any of these young boys out here who you think might be walking the path towards prison, or, you know, like, what would you tell them to try to get them off their path?
think very hard, man, before you make that decision. Because once you do it, ain't no going back.
Same shit that'll make you laugh, boy, it'll make you cry. My heart goes, you can see it in my eyes.
Busy.
I'm in the city of Baltimore, it's a concrete jungle. You know the boy gotta represent, so I gotta tat it on my face. So I gotta tat it on my face. I come from the city of Baltimore, it's a concrete jungle. You know the boy gotta represent, so I gotta tat it on my face. Some people saw shake and sneak this, they don't want me at the top. Mercy a life goes, butterfly doors, ball mains with the big knots. Smashing all the nonchalant thoughts, reminiscing while I'm on the yacht. With gold bottles like who want a shot. None of my family work in the clock, they want me at the bottom. Serve a butter on the corner, running from the cops. Incarcerated shackles on my ankle, living life in a box, boiling water just to take a bath. Every day nigga chasing cash, just to put 200 on a dash. Driving so fast I fuck a running crash. Ducked off in a coupe, hitting planes, calculating the loot. Paying my red views, creep down on my car, I'ma hop out and shoot. You with the boy or against the boy, or you in a nigga way. CLE be the empire, where update the murder rate. I got this hoe tryna do the boy in the bedrooms at my shows. We dug up, she blessed G, my niggas like come on, we gotta go. I can't trust none of these hoes, they tryna trap me because I'm about to blow $1 million in the bank is my goal. They tryna trick the boy out his dough. A motivation for the struggle, I need my people out of poverty. Money is a necessity, so I started stacking my green. $2,000 in my mouth when I talk, touching that shorty, I just wanna ball. Ain't have it all, so I jet and rob. I just can't wait until I get that call. Lady, the boy been stressed out, she baby bucks around his head bout. Understand, I'ma tap dance on these beats so the whole I can hear me out. Lost my grandmother to a bad case of the hair wrong, then I'm getting off. No banks made an overdose and took her dad's money, man, they get it wrong. So I'm grinding hard, I'm dedicated to get my family to another place. Yeah, I find it hard to face the fact that I can't see the smile on my face. I was raised in the concrete jungle where niggas die